Forget what you've seen in spy movies. We're about to dive into a real-life story that's more incredible and, honestly, more tragic than any thriller you can imagine. It's the story of a man who gave up everything, his name, his family, his entire life, for his country, only to be completely erased from its history. This quote, it really hits at the core of what we're talking about today. You know, we rightly celebrate soldiers who die on the battlefield. But what about the spies? The ones who have to live a lie every single day, erasing who they are for a mission. This is the story of one of those men.
All right, let's just start with a crazy thought experiment. Just imagine for a second, what if the man in charge of Pakistan's entire army was secretly an Indian agent? Sounds like fiction, right? Well, one man came unbelievably close to making that a reality. And if he'd succeeded, the history of this entire region could look completely different today.
That man's name was Ravinder Kaushik, but that's not the name he was known by in the shadows. His code name, the Black Tiger, was given to him by none other than the Prime Minister herself, Indira Gandhi. That's how important he was.
Think about the major attacks we've seen over the years. Pulwama, Uri, the 2611 siege in Mumbai. It's believed that if the Black Tiger had remained in his position, at the very top of the Pakistani military, he could have sent intel back to stop these tragedies before they ever happened. That was his potential.
So, how does a person even become a spy of this caliber? Well, his story doesn't start in some secret training facility. It starts somewhere you'd never expect, on a local theater stage.
Ravinder Kaushik grew up in a border town and was this incredibly gifted actor. I mean, people were comparing him to the legendary Dilip Kumar. That's how good he was. Then in 1975, he's in a play, and his performance as a patriotic Indian soldier was so powerful, so convincing, it caught the attention of some raw agents in the audience. They didn't see an actor. They saw the real thing.
So, Raw offers him the role of a lifetime, the ultimate acting challenge. But to take it, Ravinder Kaushik would have to die, and a new man, Nabi Ahmed Shakir, would have to be born. We're not just talking about a fake ID here. His nationality, his career, his religion, every single piece of his identity was completely rewritten.
And to pull this off, he went through 2 years of the most intense training you can imagine. He didn't just learn some Urdu phrases, he became fluent. He didn't just read about Islam, he memorized the Quran. And then, in the ultimate act of commitment to this new identity, he even underwent circumcision. There could be absolutely no mistakes. His cover had to be perfect.
With Ravinder Kaushik totally erased, Nabi Ahmed Shakir was ready. And his mission was something straight out of a spy novel. It wasn't just about getting into Pakistan. It was about getting inside its most powerful institution, the army. And he didn't just succeed, he excelled beyond anyone's wildest dreams. First, he builds a legitimate background, getting a law degree from Karachi University. Then, he joins the Pakistani army. And he was so good, so convincing, that he flew up the ranks. By 1983, an Indian spy was a major in the Pakistani army. It's just incredible. And the intelligence he was sending back was priceless. It's estimated that between 1979 and 1983, the information he provided saved the lives of nearly 20,000 Indian soldiers. 20,000. Let that number sink in. He was basically India's man on the inside. He was leaking everything, war plans, troop movements, you name it. And maybe his biggest scoop of all was exposing key details of Pakistan's secret nuclear weapons program. This was game-changing stuff. But here's where the story gets even more complicated. You know, life doesn't stop even when you're a deep cover spy. And as he got deeper into his role, his mission, it took a very personal turn. So Ravinder, now living full-time as Nabi Ahmed Shakir, falls in love with a woman named Amanat. And in an unbelievable twist, she happens to be the daughter of a senior Pakistani army officer. Now, the relationship was real, but it also had the strategic benefit of making his cover absolutely ironclad. Can you even imagine the psychological weight of that? During the day, he's this decorated Pakistani officer. In the evening, he's a loving husband and father. And then, late at night, when everyone's asleep, he becomes the Black Tiger, secretly sending intelligence back to India. He was juggling 3 separate lives, and a single slip-up in any one of them meant death. And for years, he walked that tightrope perfectly. He didn't make a single mistake. But in the world of espionage, it's not always your mistake that gets you caught. Sometimes it's someone else's. And one small error was about to bring his entire world crashing down.
The scene is set. It's September 1983. The Black Tiger is at the absolute peak of his mission, a true ghost in the machine. But time was running out.
Back in India, Ra decides to send another agent across the border. It was supposed to be a simple, routine mission. Just make contact and pass a message to their top asset. Standard operating procedure. The agent they sent was a man named Inayat Masi. His job was simple. Get in, meet Kaushik, deliver the message, get out. But that's not how it went down.
Masi got caught almost immediately after he crossed the border. And under brutal interrogation, he broke. He gave them the one name they never would have suspected. He told them that one of their own majors, Nabi Ahmed Shakir, was actually India's greatest spy, Ravinder Kaushik.
The damage was done. The secret was out. The Pakistani forces used the captured agent to set a trap, luring Kaushik to a meeting. And just like that, he was caught. His life as Major Shakir was over. And what came next is the most tragic part of this whole story. This is the first and coldest rule of spying. If you get caught, we don't know you. The Indian government was contacted, and their official response was a complete denial. The country he had sacrificed his entire being for just said he doesn't exist. For the next 16 years, Ravinder Kaushik was subjected to unimaginable torture in some of Pakistan's worst prisons. But through all of that pain, he never gave up a single Indian secret. He remained loyal to a nation that had disowned him. He died in 2001 from tuberculosis and was buried in an unmarked grave behind the prison. He never came home. Which leaves us with this one haunting question. There's no war memorial with Ravinder Kaushik's name on it. He didn't get a state funeral. So how do we remember a hero whose entire job was to make sure no one ever knew his name? The story of the Black Tiger reminds us that some of the greatest sacrifices are the ones made in total, absolute silence.